Hello everyone, my name is Sojang Kim and today I'll be presenting my reflective journal for the Eco Challenge. I focus on reducing meat consumption during week 3. According to my ecological footprints results, I consume 9.1 global hectares annually, with carbon emission making up like 54%. And food and shuttle are the largest contributors to my footprints. Is meat consumption a socio-scientific issue? Reducing meat consumption is not merely a matter of dietary preference, but a complex socio-scientific issue grounded in scientific evidence. Livestock production accounts for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emission, and then producing 1 kilogram of beef requires around 15,000 liters of water, and nearly 77% of the world's agricultural land is used for grazing and animal feed production. These statistics clearly demonstrate the environmental burden of meat production and its contribution to climate change, water scarcity, and land degradation. Here's a brief overview of my 3 weeks action plans. In week 1, this is my food diary that I made for week 1, which is data collection. Analysis based on week 1 data collection. The average daily meat intake decreased to 48.6 grams, which is a result of a more than 70% reduction compared to the previous average of about 170, achieving at least 2 meat-free days per week. Most of the other days, I was able to lower my meat intake to about 36 grams. Now, let me share my reflection from week 1. First, the challenges I faced included feeling less full after meatless meals and struggling to find satisfying meat-free options when eating out. Second, despite those challenges, I experienced powerful influences and I began to truly understand the environmental impacts of my eating habits. Finally, in terms of evaluation, I gave myself a score of 70 out of 100. It wasn't perfect, but it was a strong start. Here are some of my meals I prepared and I enjoyed during week 1. This table shows a detailed record of my meals during week 2, along with total meal consumption per day. In week 2, my total meat intake was 250 grams, averaging about 35.7 grams per day. As is shown in the graph, almost all my meat consumption occurred on Friday during a team dinner, which really highlights how social setting can impact our food choices. But the rest of the week was nearly meat-free. Under challenges, I noticed that pressure often led me to skip meals entirely. Despite that, the influence this week were powerful. One highlight was cooking and enjoying soy-based meat for the first time. Overall, I rate this week on 85 out of 100. I didn't just reduce meat, I began developing and applying alternative dietary habits. One of my proudest achievements during week 2 was learning how to make soy-based meat from scratch by using lentils and vegetables. This part felt especially rewarding. It made the whole process feel real and hands-on. Here's another recipe I tried during week 2, Korean-style seafood mini pancakes, also known as haemuljan, which was a really fun and satisfying way to explore seafood-based alternatives. This is a record of my meals during week 3, which was all about maintaining my new habits. By week 3, I had reached my strongest result. I consumed a total of just 50 grams of meat for the entire week, which averages out to about 7.1 grams per day. I avoided meat on 6 out of 7 days, with that 50 grams coming from just 1 meal on Tuesdays. When compared to week 2's intake of 250 grams, this shows an 80% further reduction. Week 3 brought a new concept of challenge, which is sustainability fatigue. I struggle with the unlimited variety of easy-to-make meat alternatives at home. Also, repeating similar meals led to a bit of dietary fatigue. But I also discovered something valuable. I learned that plant-based meal can actually be very satisfying. In terms of result, I rated this week a 90 out of 100. I maintained near zero meat intake. Here's a quick example of how I kept things simple during week 3 by trying out this meat-free pizza from Woolworths. This was a great backup meal when I didn't have time to cook from scratch. Highlight from week 3 was trying this vegan gochujang bulgogi made with soybean-based meat from Korean brand. Now let's take a look at my ecological footprint change from before to after. At the beginning, my footprint was quite high, around 9.1 global hectares, with a carbon footprint of 14.1 tons per year. If everyone lived like I did, then we would need 5.6 Earths. After making consistent changes like reducing meat, using more plant-based meals, my footprint decreased to 6.1 global hectares, and my carbon footprint dropped to 10.8 tons. Over the course of my 3-week challenge, I made a steady progress in reducing my meat consumption. I reduced my average daily intake from 48.6 grams to just 7.1 grams by week 3. To continue this journey, I will maintain a flexible plant-forward diet by meal prepping with tofu and seafood. I plan to involve family and friends by encouraging meat-free days and sharing sustainable meals together. At the community level, schools and local groups could run plant-based cooking workshops. Nationally and globally, I support clearer food labeling and better access to affordable plant-based options through policy and public messaging. Small personal actions, when supported by community and police, can lead to long-term change. These are our references list. Thank you.